Greetings, brothers and sisters. How y'all doing? All praises to the kingdom in the name of Yahushua the Abba, Father, Almighty Yahuwah. Anyway, I just got back from the forest, and boy, I'm not feeling society right now. So I'm like, man, let me just make a video, so so I can just keep forgetting, keep pretending that I'm not stuck in this concrete cesspool for just a little bit longer. You feel me? Anyway, today we're going to talk about symbolism, because one man, some might consider wise, the unwise might consider wise, said that the world is ruled by signs and symbols, right? And that's a very true statement, because it is. Basically, what that nigga was saying is the whole truth of the world is hidden in the esoteric or the occult, which is actually just, occult and like esoteric really just neutral terms. They just mean hidden, but they have negative connotations because of you know who. But like, for example, what we got on the screen right now is esoteric. That's Demon Slayer. If you look up the stats of this property, it's ridiculous. It's just like, there's just no way. You already know what they're on. Behind the scenes, they gotta be. You can see on the left side, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. On the right, you got the head demon, who in the show turns everybody else into demons, and also he likes to cross-dress and shit. He's you know who he's supposed to be. And Delu too, look, he was overflowing with violent intent. He strongly resembled magma erupting from a volcano. He boiled and seethed as if to consume everything. The devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. That's esoteric right there. That's a cult. That is no bueno.
It was not a literal tree, it was actually an angel. And I'm going to show that in this video, that the tree in question was not a literal tree. Yeah, there were trees in the garden, food trees, but this particular tree was actually an angel. I'm going to be talking to you about what they consider the esoteric, things that are hidden. Because, of course, the Most High said during this time period, he would begin to expose the wicked, all the things they've hidden, because he said that the pen of the scribes was in vain. All the stuff they've hid and everything, he said it was vanity, because he was still going to expose it.
So she's obviously talking about the Garden of Eden. And I don't know, I don't really expect, I mean, some of you probably remember, but I don't really expect nobody to remember this old-ass video. And I was talking about, she was talking about basically how the garden, the problem wasn't that somebody ate a literal fruit off of a tree. That was not the issue at all. The problem was niggas was having intercourse with ETs, okay? And that's what was going down back in the garden. And that's an example, like she was saying, of the esoteric. They call it the forbidden fruits. But I mean, once you understand what it really was, you know, it lines up a little bit. I mean, niggas do that nowadays when they're referring to those type of activities. They use analogies like fruit and things of that nature, things with a lot of juice in them. So, I mean, ain't really nothing new.
If you've noticed on my header, I placed a new header up there because at first there was no header there on my YouTube channel. And right in the center is an olive tree. And you might wonder, why is that up there? What does that mean? You probably see my avatar where I'm wearing a set-apart garment. It has the border of blue, but it also has the fringes. And on top, right in the center, there's an artist's rendition of a tree. And you no doubt see the double helix there. I put that there for a reason. That is an example of the esoteric. Something that is, some would say, hidden. But I'm going to read a few definitions of the word esoteric. Okay, because most of the times when we hear the word esoteric, we associate it with maybe demonism. But the word esoteric actually has nothing to do with demonism. It simply means something that's hidden, basically. But let's take a look at some of the definitions here before we get into the meat. Okay. One definition that is given by thefreedictionary.com is intended for or understood by only a particular group. Okay? Mysterious. You can see the synonym at the definition for mysterious. Another definition is of or relating to that which is known by a restricted number of people. Not publicly disclosed or confidential. Some of the other definitions they give for esoteric is not openly admitted. This is what I like to refer to as lying by omission. When people give you half-truths, right? And then the rest is just lies. I call that lying by omission. Now, some of the other definitions they give for esoteric include these adjectives: private, secret, mystical, hidden. And that's the word I want to focus on, hidden. Because when our enemies translated our forefathers' letters, they saw the truth of what was written. They knew the information was about them, themselves, our enemies, and they did not want anyone to know that what that information was really talking about, because basically it exposed them for what they are.
Well, damn, man, if they going crazy like that in the literal Bible, I mean, it's pretty. And just look around. For example, this popped into my head the other day. Now, keep in mind, this is the same series that called our king Joy Boy. This is the same series, One Piece. This is the ship that all the Straw Hats ride around on, called the Thousand Sunny. See, it's got a lion on the front of it with flames, with his mane looks like flames and such. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you have the eyes and the mind to put it together. Thousand Sunny, they're clearly talking about the millennial reign, the millennial kingdom, 1,000 sunny years. I mean, that's pretty bad in itself, but it gets worse. 1,000 Sunny, Chosen 144. Yep, those are the Straw Hats. Straw Hat Pirates are, look, you know who those are supposed to be, man. Come on, we're the same in every show. Like, there's only one. There's only one. And at the bottom, Omnia innumeris cita sunt. Now, what the hell does that mean? Everything lies veiled in numbers. Keep in mind how popular this show is, bro. This is the most popular manga of all time. We're talking 500 million plus copies. So think about all that energy. And these like, there's literally a song by some niggas called Hound the Wolves. But that's all they say. Like, I'm not going to listen to it, but this is all they say. I look at the lyrics. And I find it funny how the album is called Camera Obscura. And I just drew this random connection because that's the name of this camera from this series of games called Fatal Frame, where it lets you take pictures of ghosts and exorcise ghosts and shit. So it's like a paranormal camera. And the storyline to these games is just as demonic as the rest of this shit we see nowadays. So it's like, man, it's a lot of spooky stuff going on behind the scenes, basically. And I didn't even expect to find all that, but these niggas chanting the same thing over and over and over again, the entire song. What do you think that really is? And it's metal, too, so you already know.
選手は何のお花かしら。まあ、あれはもちろんライオンのたてがみだと思うが。The Kamon, sometimes referred to as Mandakoro or Monsho, but most often simply called Mon, are the symbols which represent Japanese heraldry. Indeed, anyone interested in feudal Japan or Japanese culture in general has no doubt come to see many of these fascinating emblems. They date back far into Japan's history, and largely are believed to have originated on ox carts used by the nobility, as an obvious mean to display which family the cart belonged to, but in time, the idea spread. Finally, by the 12th century, which saw the rise of the samurai after the climactic Ginpei War, samurai families began using their specific kamon more and more on banners, armor, clothing, and really anywhere else they could reasonably fit them. They had further become a distinguishing mark that signified that this person, this object, or these soldiers belonged to this particular clan. and later, during the Edo period, also helped identify a samurai's rank in the hierarchy of the clan. Fairly easy to understand, yet the deeper we dive into them, we find out that these simple-looking symbols are far more diverse and complicated than they initially seem. Obviously, Japan was not alone in this idea of family emblems. In many civilizations that arose across the world, we find iconography which was created to represent families or dynasties, with by far the most famous example probably being European family heraldry or coat of arms, which visual styles are not just found in Europe alone. Many countries have their own unique heraldry, with each region within the country often having their own heraldries that date back to the medieval ages, often a coat of arms of different families that at one time ruled over different areas. These images are often symbolic for a terrain feature or trait of the ruling family, and is usually accompanied by a family motto and other supporting adornments. For example, let's take a look at the coat of arms of Paris. Being that Paris sits on a river, in the center we have a depiction of a riverboat on a symbolic red background under a banner of fleur-de-lis, the royal emblem of France. In a more elaborate version, we also find it accompanied by further symbolic adornments with wreaths, medals, and a castle for a crest, along with a motto which sits below, Fleuctet nicht mergiteur. She is tossed by the waves, but does not sink. This is sort of the standard image you see for most coat of arms across Europe. On the surface, the Japanese kamon may appear less elaborate than its European counterpart. Under the surface, they are still very symbolic. In my recent video that dives deep into the history of the Takeda clan, we examined the Takeda kamon, known as the Takeda Bishi, which is a large diamond comprised of 4 smaller diamonds. The design itself is very simple, although in reality, the 4 diamonds each have their own unique meaning. They are a reference to Sun Tzu's Art of War, detailing the 4 elements that warriors should embody. This quote from the Art of War explains the meaning. Let your rapidity be that of the wind, your gentleness that of the forest. In raiding and plundering, be like fire. Be immovable like a mountain. This can also be probably loosely taken as the motto for the Takeda family, similar to mottos of European noble families, is by far the kamon of the Hojo family, the Mitsu Uroko, a symbol that represents 3 dragon scales. Obviously, this symbol is most recognized today as the Triforce from The Legend of Zelda. Little do most gamers know that this emblem represented one of the most significant samurai families throughout all of feudal Japanese history.
I always wonder what the damn Triforce really meant, because you can see that same emblem on different companies in Japan and such. Just look it up. And it's funny how they talking about that shit represents 3 dragon scales. In the last Zelda game release, which I have beaten, actually, before I sold it, there's 3 dragons. And look, get your dragon scales in the game. Yes, if you shoot the dragon in the body, you will get 1 scale. And you can build armor with them, cook them, sell them, do all types of things with them. It's just like, man. Now, in that video, he talks about the Ashina clan, how important they are on the whole Japan thing. And if you look on the right side of this dragon tree, you can see right above Ashkenazi, you got the Ashina Khazars and such. So they're everywhere, but we already know that. That name Hojo, though, that tickled me a little bit, because we done talked about Final Fantasy before, which is nothing but this, nothing but that. Straight up, the main villain of the games, Professor Hojo. As you can see, it says Professor Hojo functions as a root cause of most of the troubles that occur in the game. Type of villain just so happens to be a sociopathic god wannabe. Now, who the hell does that sound like? We done made too many videos talking about these niggas, man.
That said, it is these Aryan tribes that went by many names, including Scythians, that migrated into Europe in several waves, becoming the Druids, and intermarrying with the royal families and becoming sovereigns, the royal dragon bloodline.
Crimes, unethical experimentation, and some motion, bro. And it's not fake. That's the thing. That's you can't even. There's no point sitting here wasting energy saying how do they even know? Because it's not fake, bro. It's not that hard to take something that's real and flip it around and mess it up. It's not that hard at all. That's all they can do anyway. I can't even lie though. That video about the whole clan thing was really the video I was watching that made me want to make this video in particular that I'm kicking to you. Because while I was watching that little video about all these clans and such, I was like, I want to draw one. So I did. I'm gonna explain it because, man, look, this shit ain't hard. Cause anyway, all right. So first off, we got a circle, which that represents, first of all, the circle is the sun, but also just it's a circle. It represents like unity, complete 360 unity, and like complex simplicity, which is our Father and everything He does. It's just great, and everything's always connected. It's like, bro, you get it. You get what I'm putting down. And it's surrounded by fire because our Father is a consuming fire. And there's wings coming out of it because we are underneath His wings. The whole that's why so-called Native Americans wear feathers and such in their headbands. You know, we're the bird people. Like David's said in the psalm, whoever's under his wings, such and such. And then angels, you know how that goes. Mount up upon wings as eagles, you know how that goes. Then inside the circle, you got the two olive trees. Y'all know what that is, man. Two witnesses, all that. And in the middle, coming down the center, is a purple lightning bolt, because purple not only represents royalty, the lightning bolt represents storm. So the storm that we cause, the X gene, all that type stuff. Then you can see it's kind of hard to tell with this picture. It's better if you can have it like a light source of your own. You can see because it kind of like reflects off the light. But you got 3 different colors: gold, silver, and bronze, which represent the big 3, Mikael, Gabriel, and me. Now, if I was doing it the right way, I would use platinum, then gold, then silver, because the way it is right now is gold, silver, and bronze. And I'm not bronze, that's Uriel, but, or some say copper, but it's supposed to be bronze. So that's us. And then you can't really tell, but all the different little metal circles are outlined in red to represent how, you know, our king. You also about his I guess you could say blood, because, you know, they love messing things up. Without his blood, his sacrifice, none of this would be possible. So that surrounded all of us. And I was supposed to outline the trees in red too, but I forgot. But it's okay. Then at the top, now actually, in case you don't know, you're actually supposed to read our language from right to left. That's where yep, that's where Japanese, that's where they got that from, man. If you look closely and draw a few parallels, Japanese ain't nothing but just ancient Hebrew all messed up. Like, they even keep some similar words like anata. Like, what anata in Japanese is like a word, I think, but anata in our language is like a whole sentence pretty much, or like a dependent clause. So they got a lot going on with that. Anyway, from right to left, you read it as Tamarasha Shirakaha, which means basically our Father watch over us kings and queens as we go out to conquer. So, you know, 144 type time. And in the bottom, in their own language, because if you didn't know, Latin is the beast language. Like, we have our language, they have their language. Their language is Latin. I forgot what video it was, but some dude was breaking down the numerology of Latin and all to do with it, and all that shit came out as 666, bro. So I'm like, all right, bet. So in their language, at the bottom, I wrote in capite bestia rotulis, which means the head of the beast shall roll. Indeed. That's how they do it, except they do it with their little, I don't even, trash, nonsense, whatever you want to call it. This right here, this is fire, though. This is heat. You feel me? Which is why it is now my new channel banner and such. And it's going to remain that way forever, most likely. Now that we got that out the way, I showed you my own little example. Let's break down some more examples. I mean, this is pretty obvious. Ghost in the Shell. It's about transhumanism, bro. Like, the whole, I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't gotta sit here and explain to you that Ghost in the Shell, the soul in the body. Like, come on now. And you know good and well that since they want to be like us so damn bad, but they don't want to, they just want the power. They don't care about anything else that comes with it. That's their whole spiel, man. I'm trying to take my consciousness and put it over in this damn cyborg body so I can run and jump around like these and these black people over here. You feel me? But they not. It's not gonna go down like that. And if it does, then well. All right. So what the hell's going on here, man? It's the birth of a cyborg, the mixing of iron and clay, just like was foretold all them years ago. So you like these niggas are not smart. I don't really get how you go about living like they do and doing things that they do, knowing it's all in vain, and that the only reason you're even up right now is because we made mistakes. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, let's look at the lyrics for this creepy ass song first. Now, seeing the lyrics for this song, I already had an idea of what it was about before. I thought it was just about witchcraft, which is bad enough, but nah, this shit's even worse. So, because I had danced, a beautiful lady was enchanted. Because I had danced, the shining moon echo. Okay, so we're talking about shining moons, and it just so happened that they mentioned a beautiful lady before that. And we already know that. Started off with Nimrod's wife, Semiramis. That's where the whole moon goddess comes from. So they already on that. Proposing marriage, the god shall descend. The night clears away, and the chimera bird will sing. Now, a chimera is basically like an amalgamation of a whole bunch of creatures into one, which is the type of things that those fallen ones were doing, messing with our Father's creation, spicing things, and they fucked around, started worshiping them, calling them archangels and such, which is annoying, but that's neither here nor there. I just thought the song was about witchcraft because, I mean, witches be dancing and shit to cast spells all the time. But no, it's actually a wedding song, which is even worse because we all know that the whole 144 reunion or communion, however you want to call it, is symbolized as a bride, a husband and his bride in the wedding. It's the beautiful analogy. Then you got these niggas over here talking about, okay, transhumanism, using some old ass Japanese wedding song, talking about getting a blessing from whoever, whatever type of so-called god, which is probably another Aryan. Knowing what we know at this point, we already talked about transhumanism, how they want to be like us, but they don't want to be like us. And this song is playing over all this imagery that we're going over right now. So it's like you can put two and two together. Oh, she's in a fetal position, man, just like in the womb. Something so sacred just perverted to the ultimate degree. This is literally a machine. And it's like, you know, the Ark of the Covenant. The real Ark of the Covenant is the black or the Hebrew woman's womb. I mean, bro, that's how David got here. That's how Yahusha got here. That's how I got here. Like, bro. And they're sitting here just tearing it up, tearing it apart, talking about cyborgs and transhumanism and such. And that's not even the worst part, because this is just the opening. The movie hasn't even started yet. This is literally the opening credits after she pulls up on somebody and murks them. Then this whole little sequence plays out, and then the actual movie starts. And at the end of the movie, there's even more going on. They got a whole, at the end of the movie, they straight up show the Tree of Life a couple times, while the main antagonist of the movie, the puppet master's rattling off his damn Freemasonic ideology about why we need to transcend consciousness and other idiotic musings. Oh, and I just felt the need to throw this in there before we move on. If you think they don't have things like this in real life that look and act like humans but are completely not, you are out of your mind. Bro. The truth is stranger than fiction, bro. So that's what they're on. I mean, you just heard all that dribble. And tell me why the last thing Shotty saw before she got shot in the face was a damn black angel descending from heaven, bro. There's been, like, the whole movie is free on YouTube. You can go watch it right now. There is nothing else in this entire movie like that even alludes to the fact that there's a supernatural or spiritual element to this world. It just so happens that at the end of the movie, after he gets done rattling all that, they show a fallen angel descending from heaven. Like, come on, bro. This shit's too obvious, you know? Because Makoto and her friend who was helping her talk to this nigga are both completely cyborg bodies with human brains. They don't want that. They want to be something completely else. Like they said, at the end of the movie, they end up merging and becoming a whole new entity called the Puppet Master, right? Which is basically like a physical. It's like it's physical, but at the same time, it's digital at the same time. It can be anywhere in the net, but can exist in the world at the same time. Like I said, they're trying to be like us, the way we really are, actually are, especially arcs in between both worlds whenever we need to be. You feel me? Even right now, things ain't on 10 all the way yet, but boy, I am caught up in between two worlds. And I'm not going to say it's a struggle because I have help, but it's eye-opening. It's an experience. They want to be that. They want that, man. They want that, but they don't want to basically come to their senses, humble up, and get down. Even if they did, it's far too late for that. It's far too late for all that. But you see, all that represented through all types of symbolism. And the fact that this shit is in an animated movie that they pass off as just entertainment speaks volumes.
An elite academy on a hill surrounded by slums. In this run-down shantytown, the Monkenshok family happily eats home-cooked meals around a dinner table. Yeah, they pronounce it Monkenshok in the dub, so I'm just gonna say it like that. Around them, the masses clamor to join the academy to rank up in society to become something more than their average existence. The best way to please the academy is through discipline, suppression of self-expression, and a complete, utter obedience to the system that promises you that special piece of paper that'll set you free. Clothes are power. Goku uniforms are bizarre items of clothing that allow any average Joe wearing it to ascend into something resembling a warrior. The higher the star count on a Goku uniform, the better it is. The more expensive it is. They say clothes make the man. In Kill la Kill, they make everyone. All this hot, dripping symbolism takes place in the grander context of slums surrounding the academy on a hill. Honuji Academy.
Nah, I'm not gonna sit here and actually break down that show because we will literally be here all damn day. But you see, that's about the highest level you can get when it comes to esoteric, bro. Best believe those are not regular ass people doing those things, making like, nah, man. A regular human's mind is not encoding all these information. They're not setting up all these psyops years, decades in advance. No, those are fallen angels. You need divine intellect to be able to do something like that. I was about to say divine creativity, but they don't have that anymore. Somebody like me, you could say that about for many things. Them, they don't have creativity. They just have divine intellect. If you want to even call that shit divine, just above human understanding or normal human understanding. And so, like, definitely not those pea brains who actually, take orders from them, because if they had if they had any real knowledge, they would know they're fighting losing battles. So these are not, bro. That's why when I say they're making fun of us, no, literally, they're really making fun of us, especially when it comes to like the big boys, the big named angels. They know, they remember us. Trust me, they remember us. And they do things like that. But I mean, if you look at everything that we've talked about before on this channel, and even if you're on this channel, then you know that whole little symbolism was just nothing but a big ass metaphor for the world. Or this, more specifically, Ouroboros. Now, if you let all of them niggas tell you, they'll tell you it means wholeness or unity or something stupid like that. But in all actuality, this is the biggest black magic spell ever, because this represents basically the world we live in. It's a cycle, an endless cycle, death and rebirth. That we're on the last part of it now, but like for all this time, that's been what's going on, and it's set up that way. That's why the whole stereotype is, there's got to be more to life than fucking graduating, working, growing old, and dying, man. That's because there is, but because of this whole big ass, almost impossible to fathom scheme. It seems like it, or doesn't really seem like it. That's why it's like, man, this is the Matrix. You feel me? Oh yeah, and you remember earlier when he was talking about the Triforce and how it's supposed to represent 3 dragon scales? Well, let's see what they got.
Thousands of years before Ocarina of Time creation, The world was created out of chaos by 3 goddesses, Din, Nehru, and Furore. Their work done, the 3 goddesses up and leave, but for reasons unknown, they leave the Triforce with the goddess Hylia. Here's some Triforce 101. Anyone who merely touches the Triforce will have their wish come true, as long as they have a balance of the 3 virtues, power, wisdom, and courage. If the would-be possessor doesn't have this balance, the Triforce splits apart, leaving the finder with whichever piece they most embody. 2 random individuals are chosen by the goddesses to possess the other 2 pieces. The Triforce's power is much greater if all 3 pieces are united. Oh, and it doesn't distinguish between good and evil.
Doesn't distinguish between good and evil. Look, man. Somebody tell these fools you can't have it both ways, bro. Anyway, all praises to the kingdom in the name of Yahushua and the Abba Yahuwah. I hope. Because I know y'all already got some eyes on you anyway, so I hope this just polished them, made them see even clearer. Even clearer. And if not, you can always pray to our Father. Ask him to reveal things to you. Trust me, he gonna answer. He gonna answer. Y'all stay prayed up. And keep a lookout, because you know how they move, man. You know, they shiesty.
Now, in an interview, Black Clover creator Yuki Tabata, my friend that is, he admitted that when it comes to the creation of the manga, in terms of design and concept, he does have reference material he uses that he did not name drop, but he did mention Lord of the Rings as one of his inspirations. But I know why he didn't name drop that shit, bro. Imagine telling your editor that I've been reading devil books and stuff about Satanism to create my manga. The reference material is definitely the Kabbalah, the Grand Grimoire, and the Lesser Key of Solomon, as these real concepts are prevalent when it comes to exploring the demon aspect of the manga.